today we have finished some topics from cross-site scripting, and the last was remaining. It was it's practical. So I will just move directly to the practical part. Uh, okay, great. So here in the practical steps, for the last task, we will go over our blind access vulnerability. I will just first of all start this machine and then the attack box. So here what it is written like for ensure you okay, you will need to use attack box using the okay. Then what we have to do is once loaded, open the link below inside the attack box Firefox browser to the target website. So we have to open this URL, and then in that we have to just click on the customers tab, and we have to sign up there. Like we have to just create an account, and after that, in the support tickets tab, which this is a feature, this will investigate for the weaknesses. So here we have to like um, create tickets, and we have to enter their content and then the topics. Okay, and according to that, we will see some of the changes which are made in the page source by providing some different, like this is the one payload, and this is the, so we'll use different payloads which we have learned above. So we'll use that, and on behalf of that, we'll just navigate and like explore the page source page so that we can see the differences between these usage of payload. Okay. So we'll just let this machine start first of all, and then afterwards we'll just move forward. So here, try creating a support ticket by clicking the green create ticket button. Then we have to just create a ticket, and we have to enter the subject and the content of just the word test. We have to, in the content part, we'll just use the word test, and then we'll just click on the blue create ticket button. So you will notice that your new ticket in the list with an ID number which you can click to take you to a newly created ticket. So this will now the ticket has been successfully created in this process, right? So we'll just have a practical overview also. Okay, so I will just enlarge this in the full screen mode. Okay, enter, then browser. And here I will just copy this link so that it will be easy for me. Then paste. Okay. So this is the Acme IT support Acme IT support homepage. So here I will just move into the, and then in the customers tab, I will just click on the sign up here. And here, what I will do, I will just use a username hello, and email address also hello at the rate acme it support .thm, and then the password will be just a second. Password will be 123456 7. Password. Okay. Then I will just click on sign up. And when I move into the support tickets, here we will this will display all the tickets which we will create. So currently there are no support tickets. Okay, so I will just create one. It was written like we have to uh, write the subject and content. So subject I will write the test, or we can say test version one. Okay, and in the contents I will just only write test, and then I will just create on create ticket. Okay, click on create ticket. So you can just see the ID is given three, subject is test version one, and date the date and time which like the ticket was created, and status is open. So when I just click on this ID, and when I just like here, I will just inspect. You can see here like the content is visible here, test is visible. Okay, so this will be quite vulnerable, right? So what we will do now? We will create another ticket. We have learned the text area one, right? The payload. So let's now go back and create another ticket. Let's see if we can escape the text area. So now we are doing this to escape the text area. Tag by entering the following payload. So currently we are using this payload to eliminate the here the content. Okay. So I will just paste it here, and in the dashboard and support tickets. This one I will give it test version 2, and content will be the thing which we text area one. Okay, then I will just click on create ticket, and now you just see there is two tickets. So when I just click in the currently one, um, and you can just see ticket contents has been removed. Okay, I will just inspect this. You can just see here there is no content here. Okay, but it is not giving us the alert message, right? Like again, open the ticket and in the previous successful escape. We have successfully escaped the text area, that right? But let's now expand on this payload to see if we can run JavaScript and confirm that the ticket creation feature is vulnerable to XSS attack, because XSS attack basically works on like alert one message, right? So try another new ticket with the following payload. So currently the payload is this one where we are just sending an alert message to THM. So I will just move back, and in the clipboard, I will just copy this. Okay. And I will just create a new ticket, and I will just name it test version 3. And then the content will be the new one, text area, then script. Like we are inserting a script, and we are forwarding an alert message. Okay. Then create ticket. And now when I just click on this ID, you can just see that alert message has been given. So successfully this has been worked. Okay. But now when you just view the ticket, you should be able to see an alert box with the string PHM, right? Currently we viewed, right? Okay. So now when okay, so because this feature is creating a support ticket, we can be reasonably confident that a staff member will also view this ticket, which we could get to execute JavaScript. This can be used by the staff members, right? So some helpful information to extract from another user would be their cookies, which we could use to elevate our privileges by hijacking their login session. To do this, our payload will need to extract the user's cookie and exfiltrate it to another web server of our choice. So firstly, we need to set up a listening server to the receiver, receive the information. So to receive the information, we have to set a listening server, and localhost is the best one. Okay. So while using the tryhackme tag box, let's set up a listening server using Netcat. So Netcat is a tool which is used for the listening purpose. Okay. So currently this is done like this whole the work is going to be done for like gathering information to extract from another user. Okay, so I'll just move here and on the start that terminal, and there I will just write this command and netcat and nlvp, then the port number. Okay, And here I will just copy this and paste. Okay, okay. Then enter. So now the port has been started to listen. Okay, and now the what we have to do, like now what that we are now that we have set up the method of receiving the exfiltration information. So this is the new payload. Just read through this. What are these? Okay, and I will just copy this here, and okay, I will just create a new ticket here. Payload attack. Okay, and the content will be this. But here, the thing is, what will keep the URL? Okay, so for the URL purpose, I will just start a new terminal. Okay, this is a new terminal, and there I will just write IF config to find the current IP address of mine, this machine. So the IP address is given 10.10.244.251. Okay, or this one, let me just try 172.17.0.1. Okay, 172.17.0.1. So here I will just write 172. Was that 17.0.1? Okay, 172. Then 17.0.1, and then the port number will be the same which we have kept 9001. Okay, and then I will just create a ticket here. This is the ticket, and I will just start the server Python 3 -m http dot server. Okay, then enter. Now we have just started the server, and I'll just click here. 8,000. It is giving 8,000. I have to change it. Okay, once again. Payload attack 1. And then the content here 172.17.0.1, and then the port will be 8,000. Sorry, the first thing I like in the first terminal I have used now, don't use that. You just use the second method. Okay, that Python starting the Python server. We are not getting the like base 64 value. Mm, Let me just close this once again. Like from the beginning, I will just start once. I will just refresh the page. in the dashboard section. I will now first of all create the ticket. Okay, I will give it a test version 6 and the content. Okay, content will be this. But first of all, now we will just go in the terminal and there I will just write here ifconfig. Okay, then the IP thing I will be taking will be this one. Okay, 172, then 17.0.1. Then I will just write here sudo python 3 hyphen m http dot server. Okay, and now I will just move into that website and there I will just create a ticket. Let me just check once. Yeah, I will just create a ticket. Here I will just write in the URL the IP was 172.17, right? So here 172.17.0.1 and port number will be 8000. Then I will just create the ticket. When I just click in here, okay, it's not showing the content here. And the ticket subject is test version 6, right? Here. So so what happened with the code you have just entered as an attacker got executed now. Okay. Okay, and attacker now without unknowingly, actually unknowingly, they have sent you a GET request to web server with their cookies included in the request. Okay, so let's look. All right. So I will just move here in the terminal. The server is not giving the result. Okay, but some mistake I'm doing. I might. Either this one, let me just try once. 10.10 dot 244. Okay, let's check. 10.10 244 and then 251. 10.10 244 then 251. It was right, no? Yeah. And then the port number will be 8000. There's create ticket. Yeah, it gave the IP was wrong. Okay. So it gave us the cookie right here. So it was base 64. Here it was written base 64. Okay, so I will just move here and I will just copy that. So the staff session is given this. Okay. So I will just paste it here. Yeah. So that's it. This was the whole thing. I just pay attention in the like IP thing, okay, because I was a bit confused, but we just go through that. And now the next thing will be our command injection, okay. Okay, so in this room, we are going to be covering the web vulnerability, that is command injection. Once we understand what is this vulnerability, we will then showcase its impact and the risk it imposes on an application. Then you're going to be able to put this knowledge into practice, namely how to discover. Okay, so you just go through that. I will just give you a brief about command injection. So command injection basically is a security vulnerability that occurs when an application allows an attacker, okay, to execute arbitrary commands, like any commands on the underlying operating system. So this vulnerability typically rises when an application fails to properly validate or even sanitize user input that is used to construct system commands. Okay. So attackers exploit command injection vulnerabilities by injecting malicious input, usually through user supplied data such as form fields, query parameters, or other input mechanisms. Right. So then if injected input is designed to like manipulate the structure or even the content of the system command which is being executed by the application. For example, just consider a web application like that allows users to search for files on the server. Okay. The application constructs a system command to execute the search operation using user-supplied input without proper validation or sanitization. Okay. So an attacker could draft a malicious input that includes additional commands or shell meta characters, effectively injecting their own commands, okay, into the system. So if successfully, the attacker's injected commands would be executed with the privileges of application or the user running the application. So this can lead to unauthorized access, data leakage, or even the system compromise. Okay. So that's the whole thing about command injection. Okay. Inserting some command in the server. Okay. So discovering command injection. So this vulnerability exists because applications often use functions in programming languages as PHP, Python, and Node.js to pass data to and to make system calls on the machine's operating system. For example, uh, So, for example, taking input from a field and searching for an entry into a file. Take this code snippet below as an example. So, in this code snippet, the application takes data that a user enters in an input field named title. So, the application here takes the data that users enters. Like here, the data is entered to search a directory for a song title. Okay, here, get. So let's break this down into a few simple steps. So first one, the application stores MP3 files in a directory contained on the operating system. So here, this is the path of the song. Okay, then the user inputs the song title they wish to search for. Here, the title is given. The application stores this input to the title variable here. Okay, then the data within the title variable is passed to the command grep. So here the title, the thing is passed using the grep command to search for a file named song title or txt. Okay, and then the output of the search of song title.txt will determine whether the application informs the user that the song exists or not. Here, the if the song is found, the requested song will be given, and if it is not that, the requested song title does not exist. It will give the result. Okay. So an attacker could abuse this application by injecting their own commands for the application to execute rather than using grep to search for an entry in song.txt. They could ask the application to read data for more sensitive files. Instead of writing a song title or txt, they could ask for the most sensitive files. Okay. So note, you are not expected to understand the syntax behind these applications. However, for the sake of reason, I have outlined the okay. The Flask package is used to set up a web server. So Flask basically is a package which is used to set up a web server here. Okay, from Flask, this is a library. Okay, we are importing Flask. So a function that uses the subprocess package to execute a command on the device. This is the package we have defined here class execute command, then shell variable is shell. So these are the sub process, and we use a routine in the root in the web server. This is the root. Okay. So you just go through that and like it is given the first question is given what variable stores the user's input in the PHP code snippet in this task. Okay. So we have learned above somewhere. Yeah. Um. Yeah. Here you can just see programming language test PHP, and this is entered in the title. So the thing will be title. Okay. And what HTTP method? It will be title only. What variable stores the user's input in the PHP code snippet in this task? I think it will be. Yeah. And then what HTTP method is used to retrieve data submitted by a user in the PHP code snippet? And the method here was get, right? Here, the get. I'll just write here, get. If I wanted to execute the ID command in the Python code snippet, what route would I need to visit? So here in the root section, like if we are visiting to shell, we are using slash then shell. So we'll just use here slash ID. Okay. And now the next one is exploiting command injection. So applications that use input from the users to supply system instructions with data can frequently result in unexpected behavior. Okay, so command injection can be detected in mostly two of the ways: blind command injection and verbose command injection. So here the shell operators like this sign or this function similarly to and double and in that it does not require the first command to be executed successfully, which means that if the first command fails, the second command will still run. Okay. And the AND operator, because it is the background operator, the command will continue to run and you will be able to perform other tasks. Means you will be able to run concurrently with the first command. And the double and, it signifies and, okay, that it will execute a second command after the first one has been successfully completed. So the thing is like this one, if the first command fails, the second command will still run. And the second one, like this command will able to run like concurrently with the first command. The two second uh, both the commands will run. And here in the third one, like first command must be successful in order to run the second command. Okay, here. So in the most cases, command injection can be detected in two ways, right? Blind one and verbose. So blind injection, when testing the payload, there is no direct output from the application. And the attack must analyze the application's behavior to discover whether or not their payload has successfully done. And the verbose, after you have tested a payload, the attacker will receive an immediate response from the program. For example, you can use the whoami command to see what user like application is running as, and the username will be displayed directly on the page. So here there is no direct output, and here there is a direct feedback. Okay. Now detecting command injection. So it must employ payloads which will cause some time delay. Okay. And if at all possible, force some output here. So for this type of command injection, we will need to use payloads like ping, then sign, and then who am I, and then curl. So I will just extend the ping one. The application will hang for X seconds, depending on how many pings you like specify here, ping. Okay. And then this, like it is redirector, which means we can take the output of a command, such as cat to output of file and redirect it to somewhere else. Okay, once redirected, we can use cat to read the contents of the newly generated file. Right, we were using the cat command, right? So, and the next one is who am I? So this prints a username that corresponds to the current effective user ID. And then the curl, it's great approach to test because it sends and receives data from and like application in your payload. Okay. So then detecting verbose command injection. So one of the simplest method is because the application provides feedback or output on what is happening or being running. Okay, in the verbose. So ping or whoami is directly displayed on the web application. And some of the useful payloads are like Linux. These are the things, and for the Windows, these are the things. Just go through that. Okay. I will just move into the question like what payload would I use if I wanted to determine what user application is running as? It will be who am I, right? To know the user. Then what popular network tool could I use to test for blind command injection on a Linux machine? On the Linux machine, the tool are like ping, okay, the netcat, but this is for the ping one, okay. So we'll just write here ping. And then what payload would I use to test a Windows machine for blind injection attack? Sorry, injection. Um, yeah, this one, timeout. Okay, it will be timeout. And then now remediation command injection. So it can be avoided in number of methods ranging from your using potentially harmful functions or libraries in a programming language to filtering input without relying on user input. So vulnerable functions are like EX, pass-through, and system. In the example below, the program will only accept and process numbers entered into the form. This means that commands who am I will not be executed here. Okay. Like the application will only accept a specific pattern of characters, like digit, and the application will then only proceed to execute this data, which is numerical. So it should be noted that any program that uses these functions without performing sufficient checks in is vulnerable to command injection. Okay. Now the input sanitization, it is one of the most effective methods of preventing. It is the process of regulating the formats or types of data that a user can submit. Okay, which applies that by restricting the input character that anyone is allowed to input. Okay, so in the example part, you see only this accepts the numerical value and removes any special character such as and greater than sign and the slash. Okay. So the following image demonstrates how the filter input, this filter input, PHP function is used to determine whether or not the data is supplied via an input form is a number. It must be invalid input if it is not a number. Okay. Then bypassing filters. So these filters will limit you to specify payloads. However, we can overcome these filters by exploiting an application's logic. For example, a program may remove quotation mark. Okay, we can achieve the same behavior by using the hexadecimal value of this. Okay, and the example below demonstrates that when performed, even if the data provided is in a different format than expected, it can still be processed and produce the same result. Okay, this one. So the question is, what is the term for this? What is the term for the process of cleaning user input that is provided to an application? So for the cleaning, it is sanitization. And then the practical step. Okay. So it's interesting that the test recommended here is for the local host purpose. Okay, so deploy the machine attached on this task and test some payloads on the application hosted on the website visible in the split screen. View to test for command injection. Refer to this cheat sheet if you are stuck or wish to explore some. Okay, and then find the contents of the flag located in this flag. You can use a variety of payloads to achieve this. I recommend trying multiple. Okay, so these are the multiple payloads. We will just see here. We'll just wait till the machine gets on. Okay, so I will just expand this and here use this handy web application to test the availability of a device by entering its IP address in the field. For example, okay. So here we have to test for the local host. This is the IP address for local host. Okay. So with the host test, uh, we didn't achieve anything. Okay, 120. Acha, we have to put it. Okay, execute. Okay, so we got certain findings. Okay, and these are the like ping, then ICMP. These are some of like this is similar to the Kali Linux. Okay, so what we have to do is what user is this application running as? So for the Linux we use the directory, right? We just call it directory. So I will just try here. No, add the directory. So there are three one, two, three, four, five. five directories here. Okay, like victim is here using the Windows. Okay, so the question was, what user is the application running as? So since we know the victim is using Windows, we can use the AND shell, right? AND shell operator to find out what application is running. So I will just write here, and who am I? So the output is double level data. So let me just check this. Okay. Then what are the contents of the flag located in home tryhackme flag .txt? So what I will do here, with the help of the and right, we can just navigate here. But it is vulnerable function, like and this allows us to navigate. So because with the help of that, we can access the directories. So we can simply write here uh, and directory. It was in the home. Okay, execute. There is a flag.txt. Okay, let me just check once. But it is returning same. Okay, we'll just see, but we'll not include this whole thing. We'll just till here only. I'll just write. Okay, this so flag.txt not save. In order to read the file, we must use the cat function, cat method, right? Command, which will write here cat. It was in the home, then tryhackme, then flag.txt, right? I will just hit enter. It didn't give us the and was missing. Okay, and function is very much necessary here because it helps us to navigate. Okay, the output is given here. Okay, in this way we can just do it. Okay, great. And now in the conclusion part, like well done for making it to the end of this room. To recap, we have learned about the following elements of command injection, like how to discover the command injection vulnerability, and how to test and exploit this vulnerability using payloads designed for different operating systems, then how to prevent this vulnerability in an application, and then how to apply your learning by performing, okay, we just go through that and we just move forward into our next uh, topic, that is SQL injection. So this would be the 11th topic right in this page. Okay. So SQL, structured query language. So this inject mostly referred to as SQLI. This is an attack on a web application database server that causes malicious queries to be executed. When an web application communicates with our database or using input from a user that hasn't been properly validated, then there runs the potential of an attacker being able to steal, delete, or alter data. Okay, so basically, what is basically the SQL injection? So I will just give you a brief. So SQL injection is a type of web application vulnerability that occurs when an attacker can manipulate user input. Okay, to inject malicious SQL statements into the application database query into the database. Okay, this is basically for the database. So this can lead to unauthorized access, data manipulation, or even a complete control over the database. So there are some queries. Okay, I will just go through that afterwards. So what does SQL stand for, so it stands for structured query language. And then what is a database? So if you are not using, you are not used to working with database or exploiting them, that's probably some new terminology to get used to. So let's start with some basics on how databases are like structured and how they work. So what is a database? So a database is a way of electronically storing collections of data in an organized manner. Like these are the structured repositories or collections of organized data that are designed to effectively and efficiently store and retrieve and manage information. They are widely used in various applications and industries to handle large volumes of data and provide mechanisms for data storage, retrieval, and modification. So there are different type of database, like relational database and non-relational database. Okay, NoSQL, then multiple there. Okay, so you have to go through that. So what are now tables? So a table is made up of columns and rows, right? These are, and the columns, these are the columns and rows, these are the rows. Relational versus non-relational databases. A relational database stores information in tables, and these doesn't, the non-relational table, it doesn't use the tables, columns and rows to store data. It's a specific database layout doesn't need to be constructed here. Okay, but here it needs to be constructed a table to store the data. Okay, so what is the acronym for software that controls a database? So it will be here DBMS is a like thing. Okay, just go through that and just read and understand. So what is the name of the grid like structure which holds the data? It is table. Okay. Then what is SQL? Okay, just a second. Okay. So I will just move forward here. What is SQL? So SQL injection is a technique, okay, through which attackers can execute their own malicious SQL statements, generally referred to as malicious payload. Through the malicious SQL statements, attackers can steal information from the victim's database. Even worse, they may be able to make changes to the database also. So our employee management web application has SQL injection vulnerabilities, which mimic the mistakes frequently made by the developers. Okay. So applications will often need dynamic SQL queries to be able to display content based on different conditions set by the user. So here the first query type we will learn here is the select query used to retrieve data from the database. So like if the attacker supplies here the select query, like selects from the users. So this will give us all the details like what this user basically stores here. Okay. So this command is basically used to retrieve data from the database. Like it is used to select data from the users. Okay. And like here, we select username, password from user. So we are now here. It was like first of all, we were just simply forwarding like select star from users. It was giving us like we want to retrieve some data. Okay, like this tells the star tells the database we want to receive back a column from the table. And here we are demanding for the username and password from the user section. So it has given us username and password. Okay, and like select star from users limit one. So limit one basically is for like we want only to return one row of the data. Okay, and here lastly we are going to utilize this clause like select star from users where username admin. This will give us like only the row which has the username admin. Okay, and here this is not having the admin. This sign is basically for which is not equal to admin. Okay, and this will only return the rows where the username is not equal to admin. Okay, yeah. And then user select star from users where username admin or username John. So here the usernames are like admin and John. They will be only returned. And here the this will give us the like ID, which is username is admin and password is password. Okay, go through that and we just move into the union. This command is used to combine the results of the two or more select statements, retrieve the data from single or multiple tables. Okay, like here, select name, address, city, passport from these. We are like we are giving the like details like this we want. Okay, from the suppliers. Okay, union select company address, select post address, city then postcode. Yeah. Then we are now inserting the insert statement is to insert a new row of the data into the database. Okay, like we are entering the new this tells the database we wish to insert a new row of the table into the table. So here we are entering a Bob and password. So this we are just entering with this insert query. Like we are inserting into users the username and password, and the values are Bob and password 1 to 3. An update is to like update the thing. Like username was root and password was this, but where we are currently doing username as admin. Sorry, earlier it was admin, and now we are just setting it to root. Okay, and delete will delete the users column. Okay, so what SQL statement is used to retrieve data? So for retrieving purpose, it is select. And what SQL clause can use to retrieve data from multiple tables? It was union, right? And then what SQL statement is used to add data? Insert. Okay. And then what is SQL injection? So SQL injection can be classified into three main types. Like okay, I'll just tell it. Like in-band SQL injection, then error-based SQL injection, and union-based SQL injection. There are three types of. Okay. So this basically looks like that. So what character signifies the end of an SQL query? This is the thing, right? Okay. And now our in-band practical, sorry, practical, okay. So in-band SQL injection, in-band SQL injection is the easiest type to detect and exploit. In-band just refers to the same method of communication being used to exploit the vulnerability. An error-based one, like this type of SQL injection is the most useful for easily obtaining information about the database structure as error messages. And for the union one, like it utilizes the SQL union operator. Okay, we'll just move to the practical, then you will just understand it better. So here the green okay. Each level contains a mock browser and also SQL query and error boxes to assist in getting your queries payload correct. So level one of the practical practice lab contains a mock browser and website featuring a blog with different articles, which can be accessed by changing the ID number in the query string. Okay, so we'll just wait for some time to the till the machine gets on. Okay, so let's see what it's given here. Okay, uh, level one error-based SQLI. Okay, so here, level one of the practice lab contains a mock browser and website featuring a blog with different articles. My first article here. Okay, we can just navigate here by changing the ID. Okay, so in this way, we can just change the IDs. Okay, so this type of SQL injection basically occurs when an error message is displayed directly on the browser when entering special characters. Okay, so the key to discover error-based SQLI injection is to break the code's SQL query to try certain characters until an error message is produced. There are most commonly signed apostrophes or quotation marks. So what I will do, we have to like bring error here. Okay, so I will just try writing various numbers, but it is not giving us the error. So when I just use a quotation mark here or double quotation mark, okay, so apostrophe or quotation mark. So I'll just use your apostrophe and then enter. So you can just see here syntax error has been given to us. So try typing an apostrophe after the ID one and press enter. And you will see this returns an SQL error informing you of an error in your syntax. The fact that you have received this error message confirms the existence of an SQL injection vulnerability. We can now exploit this vulnerability and use the error messages to learn more about the database. So the first thing we need to do is return data to the browser without displaying an error message. Firstly, we will try the union operator so we can receive an extra resulting of our choice. So try setting the mock browser's ID parameter to one union, select one. So here I will just write um, one union, select, then one, enter. So this is giving us the use select statements have a different number of columns. So here, like same error again. Okay. Now we'll just write here comma two. Okay, and the same error. So let's repeat by adding another column. Okay, like three. Now the thing has been like success. The error message has gone, and the article is being displayed. But now we want to display our data instead of the article. This article is being displayed because it takes the first returned result somewhere in the website's code and shows that. To get around that, we need to first query to produce no results. This can be simply done by changing the article ID from 1 to 0. I will just write here 0. Okay. So there are, you will now see the article just made up the result from the union select, returning the column values 1, 2, and 3 here. Okay. We can start using these returned values to retrieve more value useful information. First, we will get a database name that we have access to. Okay, so I will write here union select, and then I will just try to write here the database. Okay, like we have three columns. We were having the three columns in the database of the table, right? So in our example, we just changed the ID to 0 instead of 1 because the query needs to fit with the data, right? So now we'll just write here database. Okay, and I will just pass this. So here, uh, we find database name using the our command, right? We got the SQLi one. So now we'll just use our next query. This was for getting the table, the database name. This method, okay. Now our next query will gather a list of tables that are in the database. So here I will just write here um, group concat. Okay, this method group concat just gets a specific columns. In our case, table name from multiple return rows. So concat name in the table, this basically gets the specified column. Okay, so here we are using table name. Okay, so I will just write here group concat, and here I will just write here table name. Okay, and from where we're getting like the text, the next thing is information schema database. Every user of the database has access to this. Every user can get it. So we are simply writing here from information at the rate, uh, sorry, underscore schema dot tables, where the table schema, the name of the database was SQLi1, right here, here. So where table schema is equal to SQLi underscore 1, enter. So here, uh, in this particular query, we are interested in listing all the tables in the query SQL database, which is these are the like tables here: article, staff, user, article, and the staff users. So as the first level aims to discover Martin's password, the staff user table is what is of interest users. Okay, what is the user Martin's password here? Okay, so we can utilize the information schema database again to find the structure. So what we will do again, zero union select one to group concat, then column name. Uh, Acha, we got the table name, right? Now we will just get the column name. So column name from information schema, and instead of tables, we'll just write here columns, where table name, okay, where we got the table name here. Table name was staff users, right? So table okay, name is staff users. I will just write here staff users. Okay, and then enter. So you can just see it is giving us null value. This is similar to previous SQL query. Okay, yeah. So the query results provide three columns for the staff user. Okay, we didn't got any. This is here a mistake. Okay, we got three columns: ID, username, and password. Right. The query results providing three columns of the staff user, that is ID, username, and password. We can use the username and password columns for our following. So what we will do now, again, we will just use the similar thing, zero union one, two, and then the group concat. Here, instead of column name, we got the column name, right? So we'll just write here username, and we have used this one to split the username and password. Okay, I'll just write here. Okay, and then password separator, and we are giving a line break. Okay, so here I'll just write comma, and then br. Yeah, from what we are getting this, we are getting all these from the staff users, right? So staff and then users. So we got okay, password here. We got admin is password Martin this. Okay, so we got the password, right? So we'll just use here PA. Okay, we got the check password. Yeah, and the password is correct. So this we got the flag, right? Now the blind SQL authentication bypass. Okay. So, blind SQL, unlike in banned SQL injection, where we can see the results of our attack directly on the screen. In the banned one, we're seeing the results directly, right? So, blind SQL is where we get little to no feedback to confirm whether our injected query is fair, in fact successful or not. In the blind one, we do not get any directly result in our screen. Okay, this is because the error messages have been disabled, but the injection still works regardless. It might surprise you that all we need is that little bit of feedback to successful enumerate a whole database, right? So the authentication bypass, one of the most straightforward blind SQL injection technique is when bypassing authentication methods such as login forms. In this instance, we aren't that interested in retrieving data from the database. We just want to get the past. We just want to pass the login stage. Okay. So login forms that are connected to a database of the users are often developed in such a way that the web applications isn't interested in the content of the username and password, but more whether the two make a matching pair in the user data table. In the basic term, when we say that web application is asking the database, do you have a user with the username Bob and the password Bob123? Here in the blind one, we just uh, send this request. Okay. And then the database replies with either yes or no or true or false. And depending on that answer, dictates whether the web application lets you proceed or not. So, in the practical step, we'll just do level 2 the SQL injection example show that this exact example. We can see in the box labeled SQL query that the SQL, okay, now level 2. So, level 2 of the SQL injection example shows this exact example. We can see in the box labeled SQL query. So, here SQL query here, this one, okay. So, and that the query to the database is the following. This is the okay, limit one, yeah. And the username and password values are taken from the login from form fields. The initial values in the SQL query box will be blank as these fields are currently empty. These fields are currently empty, right? So make sure this into a web query that wants always returns a true value. For the to make the query return always a true value, we use the like we can enter the following in the password field. In the password field, we just try this. So this basically eliminates all the thing, okay, and this gives the true value. So now in the place of that, we just use this query here. Um, okay, there was no result because one is true statement, and we are using we have used an or operator. So this will always cause the query to return as true, which satisfies the web application. Let's see what we just do in the this page. Can we just try it here? No, we can't do here. In the password field, can we which returns the skill current? Okay. We will write here admin, or simply we can just leave it. And in the field of like here in the password, we'll just write it here and login. Okay, yeah. You bypass the login and can now move to the next level. So what we just did, I will just make you understand. Like this is the current query. Like we have to select users from users. Like your username is something and password is something. Okay, but what we are now doing, like it has been said here, when we just write it here in the password section, it will like allow. It will always give a true value. So similarly, I just wrote it here, and then it gave us the next value. Okay, and then the blind SQLI. Okay, so Boolean-based SQLI injection refers to the response we receive back from our injection attempts, which could be true, false, yes, no, on off, 1, 0, or any response. That outcome confirms to us that our SQL injection payload was either successful or not. On the first inspection, you may feel like this limited response can't provide much information. In fact, with just these two responses, it's possible to enumerate a whole database structure and contents. Okay. So the practical on the level 3 of the SQL injection example machine, you are presented with a mock web browser with the following user URL. You just check the URL. Currently, we're logged in as admin. Okay. So the browser body contains the contents of taken true. Uh, Here, taken true. Okay. So this API in endpoint replicates a common feature found on many sign-up forms, which checks whether a username has already been registered to prompt the user to choose a different username because the taken value is set to true. We can assume the username admin is already registered. In fact, we can confirm this by changing the username in the mock browser's address bar from admin to admin123. Let's change it admin123. It is given. It gave us false. The SQL query that is processed look like this. Uh, Here, this one. Okay. So as the input, we have the control over the username in the query string. We will have to use this to perform our SQL injection. We are knowing that the username is admin. Keeping the username as admin123, we can start appending to this to try and make the database confirm two things, which will change the state of taken field from false to true. Like in the previous levels, our first task is to establish the number of columns in the user table, which we can achieve by using the union statement. So change the username value to the following. So currently we are changing the username value. Yeah, admin123 and comma is to eliminate that and the union select one. Then login. Let me just check and correct username or password. Okay. So, as the web application has responded with the false token taken as false, we can confirm this in the incorrect value of columns, keeping on adding more columns until we have taken value to true. You can confirm that the answer is three columns by setting the username to below value. We'll just set the username here. Again, it gave us false. I think this one we have to keep it admin only. And then, okay. So now that our number of columns has been established, it must give us three. Oh, sorry. In the username field, we have to set it. Okay. Here. Okay. Yeah. So here we have to set it in the mock browser. Okay. So now that our number of columns has been established, like earlier when we were doing like two, it was giving us false. But when we just write it a three, it means that there are three columns. So now that our number of columns has been established, we kind of work on the enumeration of the database. Our first task is discovering the database name. We can do this by using the built-in database method. This is the method, right? I'll just do it here. Mm, okay, enter. It also took the value. We get a true response because it's in the like operator. We have just you have the value percent, which will match anything as it's the wildcard value. It's the wildcard value, which means it will match anything. If we can change the wildcard operator to a percent, you will see the response goes back to false. Let me just check it. It again went to the false. Right. So you will see the response goes back to false, which confirms that the database name does not begin with A. We can cycle through all of the letters, okay, numbers and characters such as hyphen and until we discover a match. If you send the below as a username value, you will receive a true response that confirms the database name begins with S. So you just try with multiple alphabets. So the answer is here S. I will just try it. So it is given again true. So now you move on to the new character of the database name until you find another true response. For example, SASP. Okay. So we'll just try it here. SASP, SC. So we have to just try it here multiple times. Okay. Okay. So it gave us with Q. Yeah, it gave us with Q. Okay. So when you just try multiple times, you will get the SQLite 3. This is the database name. Okay. By performing the same thing, we got the, okay, yeah. And now we've established the database name, which we can now use to enumerate table names using a similar method. So you will finally end up discovering a table in the SQL tree database named user, which you can be confirmed by running the following username payload. So now we will just use this method here. Let's paste this. Again, it gave us true value. Okay. So lastly, we now need to enumerate the column names in the user table. So I will just write it here. You just understand the like script and each like why we are using it. Okay. So repeating the process 3 times will enable you to discover the column ID. So at last, you will find the password, like username. We found the admin, and with this again this method. And after that, you just find the password. Okay, so here it was three, right? Okay, three. Then again one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Eight it is given. Then again one, two, three, four. Yeah, in the four it is given, and then five. Okay, 3845. It is 3845. So what is the flag after completing the three level? So we can just use a username and password here. Username is admin and password is 3845, right? Incorrect. Username was admin only, yeah? 38545. Yeah, we got the username as admin and password as 3845. Mm, what we are doing is a mistake. Let me just check it here by admin only. Mm, yeah, in the login form, we will just use admin and password. Admin, okay, let me just check admin and then 3845. Okay, but why it was not here? Acha, there was some query here written. Okay, that's why it was not giving us the answer. So we got the next flag. Just paste it here, and then blind SQLI time waste. Okay, so here we'll just move in the practical part in the level 4. Okay, here time-based SQL injection is very much similar to the above Boolean-based, and that the same requests are sent. But there is no visual indicator of your queries being wrong or right this time. Instead, your indicator of the correct query is based on the time that query takes to complete. This time delay is introduced by using built-in methods such as sleep. Okay. So, for example, when we try to establish the number of columns in a table, we just use the query. It gave us okay. If there was no pause in the response time, we know that the query was unsuccessful. So, like a previous task, we add another column here. Okay, it is taking some time. This payload should have produced a 5-second time delay. Okay, so which confirms the successful execution of the union statement and that there are only two columns. You can now repeat the enumeration process for the Boolean based injection, adding the sleep method in the union select statement. If you're struggling to find the table name for the okay, so with the help of this, we can just try it by yourself. Okay, I'm just moving it. Oh, okay, again it gave the okay. So what is the final flag after completing level 4? So what we have to do is here, let SQL referrer admin 1 to 3 union select sleep 5 from users. I'm just trying it A. Okay, so again the we have got the admin. Okay, so what I will do here from it was given user. Let me just check users. Users also it is giving us and the then the password we don't know, but okay. Here, I will just write it here. Uh, from users where username like admin and password is equal to, and then we'll just write it here as password like. Okay, okay. Here we knew the admin, right? The username, and here I will just change it password like. Okay, enter. It is not giving us. I will just try 4 and 9. Request time. Okay, so I'll just check it here by admin and 4961. Admin 4961. This basically needs multiple like trial and error. Okay, so you just check it by yourself. Like, do you understand or not? Okay, so now is out of band SQLi. So because if I will just try it one by one, it will take much time, right? You just try it by your own. So out of band SQL injection, it's common as it either depends on specific features being enabled on the database server or the web application business logic, which makes them a kind of external network call based on the results from an SQL query. So an out-of-band attack is based by having two different communication channels, one to launch the attack and one to get the results. For example, attacker channels could be a web request and the data gathering channel could be the monitoring HTTP request. So here, an attacker makes a request to the website vulnerable to SQL injection. Here, the web site makes an SQL query to the web database, which all passes the hacker's payload. Then the payload contains a request which forces an HTTP request back to the hacker's machine. So name a protocol begin with D that can be used to exfiltrate data from a database. So DNS, right? And the remediation part, so as impact full as SQL injection vulnerabilities are developers who have way to protect their web applications from them by following the below advice. So prepared statements. In a prepared statement, the first thing a developer writes in the SQL query, and then an input user inputs are added as a parameter afterwards. Writing prepared statements ensure that SQL code structure doesn't change and database can distinguish between the query and the data. So name a method of protecting yourself from a SQL injection exploit. So it will be prepared statements. This is the remediation part. Okay, you just go through that. So we just finished the SQL injection also, and let's see what's the next one. Okay, so we have completed the introduction to web hacking. So now we will move into the Burp Suite basics. So here, this room covers the foundation of using the Burp Suite web application framework. Nothing else to do here. Let's move forward. Okay, and getting started with what is a Burp Suite. Okay, so Burp Suite is a framework written in Java that provides a great package of tools for penetration testing of web and mobile apps. So it does this by providing the ability to capture and manipulate all traffic between the attacker and a web server. There are different editions of Burp Suite available, but in this room we will work with Burp Suite community. We will like this is a free of use for any non-commercial use. Burp Suite professionals and enterprise provides continuous scanning. So this provides more powerful features, but requires experience license. Okay. So the community edition we are going to use. So which edition of the Burp Suite will we be using the modules? It is Burp Suite community. Then, which edition of the box suite runs on server and provides constant scanning for target web apps? So it was box suite enterprise, right? Here. So it will be box suite enterprise. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Then what bird suite is frequently used when attacking applications and mobile applications, right? Okay. And now features of Burp Suite community. So Burp Suite community is free and therefore consists of less features than Burp's premium products. But there are still many great tools available, like proxy. This allows us to intercept and modify request responses when interacting with web application. Then repeater. This allows us to capture, modify, then resend the same request numerous times. Then intruder. This allows us to spray an endpoint with request. This is often used for brute force attacks or to first endpoint. Then decoder. This allows us to decode captured information or encode our payload prior to sending it to the target. Then comparer. This allows us to compare two pieces of data at either word or byte level. Okay. In the sequencer, this allows us to assess the randomness of tokens such as session cookie value or other supposed like random generated data. So if the algorithm is not generating secure random values, then this could open up some devastating avenues for attack. Okay. So in addition to this feature, it is very easy to write extensions to add functionality to the burp. This can be written in Java, Python, or Ruby. The Berkshire Extender module can quickly and easily load extension into the framework, as well as providing a marketplace to download third-party modules referred to as tabs too. We list many of these extensions require a professional license to download and add in. So there are still a fair number that can be integrated with Berkshire community. So, which Berkshire feature allows us to intercept requests between ourselves and target, that was proxy. Then which Berkshire tool would be used if you want to brute force a login form, it will be intruder. Okay. Then installation part. So Portspeaker has made installing Burp Suite extremely easy on Linux, Mac OS, and Windows, providing dedicated installers for all three. As a Java application, Burp can also be downloaded as jar archive and run on effectively anything that will support Java runtime environment. So Burp Suite comes pre-packaged, packed with Kali Linux, so you should not need to install it there. If for reason Burp Suite is missing from your Kali installation, you can just easily install it. So like okay, and the dashboard page. After opening Burp Suite community and opening a new project, you are met by the Burp Suite dashboard. This is the dashboard. Okay. So in short, the dashboard interface is split into four quadrants. The task menu. Okay, this allows us to define background tasks the Burp Suite will run with the user applications. These are the task menu. Okay, and then the event log. This tells us what Burp Suite is doing, that is starting the proxy, as well as information about any connections that we are making through Burp. Okay, and in the issue activity. This session is exclusive to Burp Pro. It won't give us anything using Burp Community, but in Burp Professional, it would list all of the vulnerabilities on the automated scanner. Okay. And then the adversary. This section gives us more information about the vulnerabilities found as well as references and suggested remediation. These could then be exported into a report. Okay. So just go through that and okay. Now the navigation part. So navigating around the Berkshire GUI by default is done entirely using the top menu bars. These this allows you to switch between modules. So the modules like dashboard target. Okay. So if the selected module has more than one subtab, then these can be selected using the second menu bar, which appears directly below the original bar. If like proxy has multiple subbars, so here it basically list it in the downward. Okay. So in addition to the menu bar, Burpsuit also has keyboard shortcuts that allow quick navigation to like key tabs. By default, they are Control Shift D to switch to the dashboard, then Control Shift T to target tab, Control Shift P to proxy tab, then Control Shift I for intruder tab, and Control Shift R for repeater tab. So get comfortable navigating around the top menu bar. So you just go through that. And in the options, there are two types of settings available for configuring workflow. First one is global settings and second one is project settings. So global settings can be found in the user options tab along the top menu bar. Okay, in the user section, and the project setting can be found in the project option tab. Okay, in the user one and project one. So here you can just find it. The options provided in the user options tab will apply every like time we open Bob Suite. In contrast, the project options will only apply to the current project. Given that we can't see projects in the Bob Suite community, but this means that our project options will reset every time when we close our Bob Suite. Okay, so just go through that the different settings. So in the questions like in which like category can you find reference to the cookie jar? In the cookie jar, we can find it in the sessions. Okay, just go through that. And in which base category can you find the updates subcategory category which controls the workflow update behavior? So when you just go through these all the things, you can get some more subtabs like we were getting in the tabs, right? Yeah. When we just going in the proxy, there were some more tabs. So that it is saying like just go through that and it is in the okay. Mm, in the updates, outdated version. Okay, we'll just see it here. We have to start this attack box and we'll just find that there. We'll just move forward. Like, what is the name of the subcategory that allows you to change the key bindings for shortcuts in Bobswood? I think hotkeys. Okay. If we have uploaded client side TLS certificate, can we override these on per project basis? No. Um, if we have uploaded client side TLS certificate, like when configuring with the like our browser, we need to get the certificate. Okay. So okay. Then there are more configuration of option available. Take the time to read through them. Yeah, we'll just go through that. We'll just move into this thing. What was this updates subcategory? Okay, let me just check. Can where can we find the updates? So you're next, and then start. Why it's not starting? Okay, starting project. Please wait. Okay, then here update is in the learn. I don't think so. No, not in the learn one. Where it could be the updates one. Here it is showing us, but where we can get, I think, settings window. We must have to search in the settings window again. I have to check it once where we can just get the option here. Okay, I will just check it once, whether it gives or not. Then afterwards, I will just confirm. Okay. So, like I think I have completed some of the tasks here. So we'll just move forward. I will just tell you this question afterwards, the answer, and we'll just move forward. Okay. So the next one will be introduction to burp proxy here. Okay. Uh, okay. So the burp proxy is the most fundamental of the tools available in the burp suite. It allows us to capture request and response between ourselves and our target. Okay. So burp proxy is the most important tool in the toolbox. They right. So it allows the users to capture request and response between your system and our target. In addition, you can then manipulate the request before sending them further forward their target. So, for example, if we want to make the request to this URL to the Bob proxy, our request will be captured and won't be allowed to continue to the TrackMe servers until we explicitly allow it through. Okay, so we can choose to do same with the response from the server. Although that this isn't active by default, when the proxy is active and you will when you will refresh the page, it will capture a request. Okay, so just to go through this, we'll just complete this in the next class. Okay, for today's session, I think this is